try to finish this. I just put up a tape, and I'm going to say Public Health Department responds as 1 and 2. So if you care to look at, excuse me, look at me. I'm kind of sick because the I'm going to just repeat this. The health department, for the first time in what's happened to me, they did respond, and she came out today, and she didn't come to my room, but I'm in a motel now. But she did come out and look at some of the rooms, and at least she tried. She responded. Where the health nurse she referred me to never called me back. And if you kept up with, anybody has, with my YouTube videos or Facebook or Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. I'm allergic to chemicals, and my immune system attacks itself, and it's not funny. It's can be deadly, and if you're around toxic fumes for very long, especially if it's deliberate, then it tears my immune system. I respond. My immune system attacks itself. So I'm rehashing stuff. You get the gist. Law enforcement. Well, anyway, it doesn't work for me. I can't get an attorney, etc., etc. They're afraid of the mess. I wrote about mind control murders back in '75, and Larry Flint was shot. I was in Marietta, Georgia, and he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And the book I never got it published. I was almost killed April Fool's Day of '80, and this after I had a letter from the FBI, U.S. Attorney Harper, ongoing investigation, national security involved. Well, ask yourself, what's national security doing involved in it? But ongoing is what they've done to me. I was flown out to Flint during the campaign to replace Congressman Larry McDonald in '83, and he was one of the cases I wrote about in the book. And anyway, he furnished me a car, and I didn't see him after then. He had a lot of problems himself because he chose to tell the truth. But what I wanted to get to, and I'm not even going to try to explain it because I heard, let me say this. I called on the 30th, I believe, after I updated some videos like Audie Murphy and Alexis Murphy and some more. And when I finished, I had called the lady that responded to me at Benton with the health department. No one that has ever done that. None of the agencies or law enforcement have done their jobs, okay? And in some times, I have to say this, if there hadn't been law enforcement, I wouldn't have lived. So there's been a good side, a bad side, okay, in all of this. But when I finished the videos, the lady from Benton Health Department called me back. Now, I don't know if she's an inspector or what, but she comes out to the motels and out to places to make sure that everything's okay, health-wise, I suppose. But the nurse never did, and none of them in the past have. So she followed through with it. I called her, then called the health nurse down health department. But there's something else going on here, and I'm not going to try to explain it. It's too easy for people to drop it or say, oh, that's nuts or all this. I don't care what I lay out to show them. The next thing was that I saw the San Bernardino and the shootings there. Well, they're mind control shootings, and some of them can be proven. And no, it's not. It's odd. People will accept programming. They won't accept, programming, but they will take that they're radicalized. Some people are. People do not want to hear it, and it's going to end up, the end of the game, I suppose, is their guns are going to be taken, because they're going to keep it up, the agency doing it. But the thing that happened there was it was at a social service, I believe. They were having a party. But there's more to it than I'm going to put here. There's no way it'll sound garbled. And anyway, the man that was shot, he did the shootings. They were programmed, he and his wife. And I believe they are from the Islamic religion. I know they are. But anyway, he was an inspector for the Public Health Department that I've been, so it's the synchronicity and timing that if you ever get into it, it proves that yes, it was put together way back, but not the way people are taking it. The press jumped on it saying, well, they had guns stored up and bomb making and all this. Well, that's true, but in mind control, the programming can be done a long time ago, and that's why some of these are so put together, like the Sandy Hook shooting, the Tucson, the James Holmes, the Aurora, Colorado, and the sad part about it all is no one has spoken up. Mind control is not mental illness, and mental illness has taken the fall for it and being used as a scapegoat, which is not funny at all. So anyway, I wanted to say that today's the first time that somebody has done their job in this whole thing. So I'm going to let it go at that, and I hope that the repercussions to me from doing the tapes, telling the truth, has really taken its toll. I wish I'd have a few days and know where my children are, to live where I can breathe. And before I go on this tape, right after the lady came out here, I didn't know she did with the health department, and it felt so good for somebody to do their job. I didn't know they'd been here just a little bit before. Well, in comes the so-called, well, I guess he was, the exterminator. I called her back. I told him, at first he said it wasn't him that came and sprayed before, and I started having all the problems. You'd think he would know one bug from the other or something, or what's biting you. He didn't know anything about it, about which is this or that. He did look under the sheets to see if it was bed bugs, I guess. But anyway, he left, and he sprayed the carpets a little bit, and right away I'm having bites all over me again, so it's in the carpet. But I called she called me, the health department lady did, and said she'd been out here and talked with him because she'd had a lot of violations called in anyway. But I said, well, the exterminator just came, and she had asked me before when I first called her what he had on, who he worked for. Well, he didn't have, he was Asian, and he just had normal clothing on, and the spray thing, and that's what he had on today when he came right after she was here and left. And I told her that. She asked me again, she said, who was he with? I said, he didn't have anything on to say who he was or anything. It's the owner comes with him. He did the other time, and this time the owner was out there, but he's the same guy that was here and sprayed before, so I let him in. And I asked him when he was standing here, though, talking to me, I said, what all do you spray when you come in? He said, well, we spray the air conditioning. Well, I'm not going to go any further with it. My life has been a living hell on a lot more things being done to me, but as if this wasn't enough, being allergic to chemicals when it's used like warfare on me and terrorism. You try to tell people, and even now when I got pictures of the black mold that's in it everywhere, which can take your lungs out, nobody will touch it with all the pictures I've got on it. Well, I've tried to tell people that the air conditioning and heating units, they used it, and toxic fumes would come out. I mean, my life would be rolling in the bed and my lungs hurting and nobody listening to me. Well, at least he's the first one that ever said that they sprayed into the air conditioning. But I talked with Jack Hartsfield, and God knows I hope Jack's okay and alive. But he said, he mentioned too, he's FBI and was a reporter. He's undercover as a newspaper reporter. And he made the same statement to the last time I spoke with him. The plumber or the housekeeper or the maintenance guy, in that case, all of them, can knock at your door, and they can be gotten to, and they can make your life a living hell, according to who is telling them to do it. And I want to say this to Jack. I haven't spoken with him in a while. He saved my life years ago. And last time that